Last season was like something out of a dream for me. It's not often that you get to walk out of the public woods feeling triumphant. And now, the burning question becomes, how do you follow up the season of a lifetime? My mind is consumed with the memories of last season, as well as the prep and work that needs to get done for the season ahead. If I want another shot at a season of a lifetime, I have to figure out a way to keep the fire burning. But fear and doubt drive me rather than rule me. Because if the last year taught me anything, it taught me that the war in the woods is won in the battlefields of our minds. Positive attitude in the face of soul-crushing loss is the one key to success that you alone have total and absolute power over. So now the time has come. The prep is over. You have to want it more than anyone else. It's time to go the extra mile.
Opening day 2020, October 1st, heading out to go meet cousin Brian. Should be a great sit. It's 4:13 in the morning, upper 40s. I don't think it gets much better for an October 1st here in Illinois, so heading out to some public that I know pretty well, on a hill that I know pretty well, so we got the wind, we got the weather. Stay tuned, should be a good hunt.
Brian Squared's about to get her done.
It took us much longer to get to the tree than we expected. It was already breaking light by the time we started to set up the tree stand. Hurry up. Putting the final touches on the setup. We got in late. And we're not going to point fingers. It could go either way, really. It could be my planning of the route or his fogging of the glasses. We could go back and forth all day, but we're not going to do that. All the way to the left of the opening, right? Yeah. That's exactly over there. We screwed that one up. We had a doe come in to our left. And I thought she was in the thick stuff, so I was trying to point out to Brian where she was. And apparently she was standing there looking at me as I was pointing. And either she caught movement or caught her wind, I don't know which one.
big old doe, big trophy doe, 2 little fawns, and a spike.
That doe was massive.
Yeah, that doe was huge.
I got her in the frame with her literally right there.
And I just unhooked from the tree, so I'm up here just trying to, get real intimate with this bark. It's not a bad way to cap off the morning.
We got some fresh scrape right there.
Brian's fiance made engagement photo plans for later that afternoon. I assured him that this will be brought up at the wedding toast, and then I said goodbye and went at it alone the afternoon. There's the bean field I'm going to. You can see how close it is to the road, but like I said, driving around here the other night, I saw 3 or 4 nice bucks in here. I don't know if I'd shoot any of them, but there's one of them that I didn't get a great look at, and he looked big. And so I'm hoping that they stay on that same pattern tonight. If nothing else, I'm close enough to the road where I can shoot a doe, put one in the freezer. Since I have tomorrow off, I figure I got plenty of time to get her taken care of tonight and tomorrow, so. Alright, this is it, boys. You guys can see it. I'm going right there. I saw about 4 bucks right here the other night. I'm thinking that it's so close to the road that nobody else is going to want to think behind here. Right across the road, I saw a bunch of does. Saw some does in here with them, so sometimes you just got to go for these off-the-wall things where everybody thinks you got to go really deep, and sometimes you do, but I mean, sometimes it's easy to just go where nobody else thinks that it's worth going, so see how she goes.
Alright, so I'm set up right here on this bean field, about 100 yards off this road, if that. And I saw 4 nice bucks in here about 2 nights ago when I was driving around scouting. And come over in this corner and it's tore up with rubs. There's a fresh scrape right here behind me on the field. And it just looks really, really good in here. And I think that because it's so close to the road, people probably don't think it's worth hunting. But we're going to see if maybe we can prove them wrong tonight. So stay tuned.
Well, that wraps up the first day of 2020. Kind of an uneventful sit tonight. 1 doe came in the field. So, saw about 8 this morning, but only 1 tonight. So, we're going to keep trying. Tomorrow afternoon, we're going to go out after them, try to go deep, and see if we can't get close to one. So it's October 2nd, it's about 1:13 right now. I'm just getting out here to the park and not quite sure what I'm going to do. I've got a west-northwest wind, but it's supposed to get pretty calm tonight, so more about thermals than anything at that point. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Last night I really didn't have much action sitting on a bean field that I had scouted a couple days prior and had some bucks on, so this fresh cut corn looks good, but I'm going to drive around and see if there's any other fields that have also been picked, and then kind of make my decision from there, because those guys aren't going right now, so I don't know if they'd have it done tonight.
until I see some fresh sign. I'm going to set up on it. I've got scrapes all in here, but I don't see any big tracks in it or anything. I think these are just small bugs. So, it's so quiet and calm. I really don't want to press too hard, but I got to put myself in the game here. I'm sneaking through here trying to look for a place to set up, and I see all these fresh white oak acorns. So I'm looking up as this tree's loaded, and I'm looking around for rubs, and I look over, and there is the match set to a shed that I found about 100 yards that way back in the winter. So I've got his picture on a trail cam up here. It's some thick stuff, so I'm going to set up right up in here. And how cool is that? Match set. Now I've got both of them. This is the deer I was kind of targeting in here just because of having this shed, but now this is even cooler. So, how awesome is that?
I may not have seen Mr. Big, and I got blown at about 10,000 times, but finding that shed made the night a win for me.
Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. You guys caught me. I enjoyed the little boy George on the way to the tree stand. Don't judge me. Sunday, October 4th, and heading out to meet up with a buddy, Chris. I'm going to film him for the first time tonight. I actually got him kind of into bow hunting a long time ago out here where we're going, and it's going to be kind of fun to reconnect and try to get footage laid down of him putting down a buck. So last night, he's been hunting this bean field real close to the road. He drove around, he saw a couple bucks. He said he saw 2-3 bucks hanging out in this field, so then he hunted it, and he's seen bucks every night. Last night he had a couple of shooters at, he said 5 to 10 yards right behind him, snuck up right on the trail that he was on. He said he had picked a trail that was just off of where they were coming out the night before, but he said last night they came out directly behind him, and they saw him move before he saw them, and they snorted and took out of there. So I'm going to meet him. He wants to hunt that field again. I have my doubts since they busted out of there on whether or not we should, but he thinks it's loaded up in there with more deer than what he busted out. We've got some good wind today, and I really want to sneak tight to, get in on some acorns that are tight to bedding, or even just find some bedding somewhere and sneak tight to it. That's what my instincts are telling me. The other thing is we were talking about possibly driving around and looking for some cut cornfields and setting up on anything that's fresh. So we're going to do that first, and then while we're driving, we're going to kind of discuss whether or not we're going to go back to that field or if we're going to go try and find some new spot that's closer to bedding. So stay tuned. It should be a good hunt.
So I scouted here 2 weeks before the season, and I was just driving by, and I seen 3 nice bucks, two 150s, maybe a 130 with them, and hunted it 2 nights ago. Had that 130 come out on me. Not sure if he's the same buck, but definitely a smaller buck came out on me. I had no shot. I watched him from about 6:30 to right at dusk. And then last night I was sitting in the stand, had 2 deer at my back sneak up on me right about 6:30. Went to turn around, he busted me out. So we're going to try to sneak in there tonight and return the favor.
Tell them what time it is and about 4 o'clock. We just got set up in our stand.
Though hopes were high, we ended up not seeing a single deer. Chris originally wanted to sit up on the field where he had been seeing all the deer, and I wanted to push forward. We ended up somewhere in the middle, and it didn't work out. Chris went on to see 2 more shooter bucks on that field the following night.
All right, so I'm heading out today. It's a little bit warmer than what it has been. Cold front came through, and now this is the first real day it's been warm. It's going to get up to like 70 today, and it had been in the 60s, low 60s, mid 60s. So it's starting to warm up a little bit. We got another cold front coming through middle to end of next week, but you can't kill them from the couch, right? Cliche, but it's true. Big bucks are still going to get up, and they're still going to feed. You just got to get a little bit tighter to where they're bedded. So.
Sometimes these crazy moves pay off, and sometimes you just sit there all night and don't see anything. Of course, that's hunting, anyways, but generally if you go deep, you can always plan on seeing some deer. But things like this, when you're going right down the road from the parking lot, it's kind of a crapshoot on whether or not it's going to pay off. So I'm rolling the dice, and if it does pay off, we don't have very far of a drag, hopefully. And if it doesn't, it was a hot day anyway, and at least I got to go sit out in the woods and enjoy Mother Nature, right? I'm trying to find a good tree where I can shoot down into this valley and up onto this top right here. It looks like I got a decent one right here, but I don't really want to push too far in here, because the whole idea is that I'm going to catch them coming out to this corn, so I'm going to set up right here on the edge, see what happens. Alright, after looking at my on-X, as good as this spot looks, I'm going to push in a little bit further where everything converges and comes together. Because with them cutting the beans across the field that way, and then there's 2 different points that jolt out to this corn, I want to be in the center. I want to be in the center where everything is, so if they decide to go out to the beans or the corn through either one of these valleys, I get a crack at them. I'm just taking a chance. I'm going to go down in this creek and hope I don't bust anything out getting to that pinch point back in here, so we'll see. I'm going to use the creek bed for access. It's too loud to be walking through all the rest of this stuff, so I'm going to use this creek bed. I didn't bring my rubber boots, but I'm just going to deal with it. It's so warm. It's not like my feet are going to freeze or anything. So I'm going to follow this to that point, and hopefully I don't bust anything out. That's a good sign. I'm seeing some pretty good sign in the mud here. Some decent sized tracks. And they all seem pretty fresh. I'd imagine they're getting them a drink somewhere along here on this hot day before heading out to them cornfields. Decent sized tracks. Fairly fresh heading back into here. Hopefully they take this way out tonight. Well, I'm finally set up. What time is it? I went and decided I was going to sneak down this draw off of this cut cornfield that butts up to private where the cornfield is cut, because they haven't cut any of the corn in the public yet. I'm here on this creek. I'm where this creek comes down and meets up with the basically it's basically a waterway, and I've got good trails coming from every direction right here, so anyway, I'm excited to see what we see in here.
As the buck headed off into the darkness, a sense of extreme satisfaction took over. While I may not be leaving with backstraps this time, at least I put myself in the game. Victories are few and far between in this game, so I'll take whatever small one I can get. I'll keep pressing on, keep going the extra mile.